Hello, this is Unsolicited Redesign, the internet show where we take a look around YouTube and find a channel in need of some design help, whether they ask for it or not. Today, we're going to be looking at a channel called Brahkie. Brahkie is an old school style channel focused on recreating the feeling of late 2000s and early 2010s style of amateur video production. Link to the channel will be in the description.
Oh yeah, here's the inside. It didn't come with a manual. It was only $9, so it's okay. I think that's Fat Smoke right there, and there's the back. It's really cool.
Alright, let's get into it. Getting the feeling for this design was really important to me. I had to find a way to match the eccentricity of Brackie's channel and create a sort of design that flows with what Brackie's intentions of the channel are. Though at the same time, I can't make it too professional. This has to look as if Brahkie themselves has put this one together on their own computer in their own time, much like their own channel. I took a lot of look at Y2K fashion and design for the time, specifically for the internet. I know this isn't exactly the time frame that we're going for, but after taking a look at some of their other projects, it seems as though they also draw from this sort of aesthetic, so I'm trying to keep it in line with some of their other projects. Now, what you see me doing here is playing around with this very blurry, skewed rectangle that I've turned white. I'm trying to make it into sort of a reflection, just trying to add some of the strange realism that comes with Y2K design. This doesn't last too long in the design, but it was a interesting little detail that I played with. Here I am trying to grab that center marker, trying to add an anchor. I'm used to older versions of Illustrator, so you'll see me struggling with this design a little bit here. I really love the colors of this design. I think this blue is really beautiful, especially with the white text. I'm really glad that I came up with something a little bit better than this rectangle here that is now morphed into something else. But it's okay, it doesn't have to stay for long. Pink is a color that, as soon as I added the blue, I knew it was going to be incorporated into this design somehow. It's just such a staple of Y2K design. Right now I'm just trying to play around with the drop shadow, if you could call it that. It ends up not being a drop shadow here. It becomes more of a border, but I still think this is a really neat idea, and I do it quite often. Little things like this can really elevate a design. I don't think it was working on this one, but I still think it looks nice. Once I got this color right, the design really started to hit its stride for me. I started to really feel it. The music I was listening to started to swell, and the inspiration really started to flow. I really like this gradient. I don't use gradients enough in my designs. It's something that I realized working on this one, but it's such a unique and characteristic kind of thing. It's really emblematic of the era, and the era that I started designing in, which was about 10 years ago now, gradients were really out of fashion. I never learned to use them. This is one of the first times I used it really successfully without too much trouble. Turning the circle into a full shape is really gonna hinder me later, but that's okay. I really love the yellow outline on this text. There's little things like this that can really pull a design together. Maybe if something doesn't work, just throw an outline on it. See what happens. Here we have the beginnings of sort of a filler shape. The logo's done. I'm happy with the word mark. It doesn't change at all from here. We're just adding some of the Y2K eccentricities that we talked about earlier, something to match the style of Brackie's content. Here I am struggling for a little bit, trying to pull this amalgamation of rounded corner rectangles into sort of a star shape. I'm not really sure what to call this, but it's nice and I like it. I think it went with the design really well. Pulling and stretching. That's a lot of what this work is. It's a lot of pulling and stretching until something fits into place. At first, this little connector part was going to go all the way around. I decided to do it one at a time. There's nothing wrong with taking things one at a time. I don't think this is the most professional work I've ever done, but as you recall in the beginning of the video, this isn't the intention of this. It's made to look like Brahkie themselves put this together. Maybe found this on the internet somewhere, placed it next to their name with a cool font that they found somewhere deep in the internet. Maybe they got a virus from it, who knows. Trying to get this into place was really difficult for me at first. I do a lot of playing around with scaling and location. I do really like the idea of having that circle off-center. I think it adds something neat to the design. It too doesn't stay. Many good ideas don't, but that's okay. We made it work in the end, and I think playing around with this, I found a better size for this circle anyway. There it goes, makes its way home in the center, and we're gonna work on something else now. There's a lot of strange 3D design in Y2K. It's flat, but it still has depth. And that's kind of what I'm trying to incorporate here. I wasn't totally sure what I was going to do with it yet, but here it is done quite quickly. I knew what I was going after. This little ball, same color as the emphasis on the text. I think it brings your eye right to the text and makes it feel like this belongs where it is. This text in a vacuum of blue. Finally, that white thing is gone and we can see the design as it's meant to be seen. I really like this water texture. I wish I remembered where I got it from, but it was absolutely perfect for this design. It's almost the exact blue that I used, and with a little bit of opacity, and you're gonna see in a second I'm about to add a second layer on top just to make it feel like it's underwater. This was not the intention of mine when I first started this design, but rarely do we keep the same intention throughout a design. And I think this idea turned out really nice. I'm just layering it on top, trying out different filters, and I find that this multiply one works really good. When I lower the opacity, you get the impression that this is underwater. I'm also going to offset it just a tiny bit to create a little bit of blur, a little bit of depth in the photo here. We get rid of the frame and here we go. Here's the full thing. Now I took it into Photoshop as well. I felt it needed some more touching up, some more work, which is fine. It's nice to use two programs sometimes. I'm not overly familiar with Photoshop, not so much as I am with Illustrator. I don't use it as much, but recently I've been pairing the two. I think they're such a beautiful combination together. My mind at this point still can't shake the idea of adding a halftone. I can't quite get it to work in any other program, so I decide I'm just going to make my own. Circle by circle, this little hex pattern. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. I have a lot of trouble getting this all together in one piece, but it comes together eventually. I really love the way this design came out. I might be humbling myself by saying that I think this is just perfect for Brackie's channel. It, much like her channel, are both lost in time, trapped in an era that they can't escape from, and yet simultaneously thrust into the modern era with modern technology. No regard for it. No regard for trends going on right now. It's as if it lives underneath the ocean, protected by miles and miles of water. only just now seeing the light of the sun. I'm really trying to play with the blur here, but I just can't find anything that looks better than how it does right now. And really, I think the design is done. I don't have anything else to add to it. I will try here, but everything else here is just flavor. Things to make it feel like the age has come by. I am actually going to steal some stuff here from an old design of mine. Some retro flavor to throw on top of this. And thankfully I have done some color correction on this one that thankfully and kind of miraculously saved the other design. Look at the colors pop as soon as I add this in. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful adjustment layer. And this is it. This is the completed design. The banner is very similar, and I will skip the process of making that one, and I'll just show you the completed item here. Thanks a lot for watching, and Brahkie, if you see this video, please reach out to me. I would love to give you these files as a gift. Thank you again. Please subscribe to the channel for more. I'll see you next time.